Welcome back to Toast Animations, the best channel on YouTube if you're looking to be disappointed. Um, so today we will be having some story time as a speed paint goes on in the background and I ramble uncontrollably like an idiot. So I guess first story, I'll tell you of how I rickrolled my chicken to death. Yes, I rickrolled my chicken to death. I didn't actually rickroll her to death, but the circumstances were very ironic and kind of funny. So, I go outside. I live in the middle of nowhere where everything wants to eat you, basically. I've heard some wolves, and because I'm a total cat, if you know what I'm saying, I'm a pussycat. Um, it was pitch black. I decided, I was like, okay, what keeps animals away? What keeps anything away? And I was like, Rick Ainsley's Never Gonna Give You Up. Yes, that is right. I used rickrolling as a defense mechanism against random wildlife that wanted to eat me or something, which they probably didn't. It's an irrational fear. So I go to the chicken coop. I'm here to feed them. I'm kind of scared because, again, it's pitch black outside. And so I feed them, and I did a chicken count like I always do. And so there's one missing. And I'm like, where the heck is it? And since I'm probably going to title this video, I rickrolled my chicken to death, you already know what's going to happen to this missing chicken. Yes, I found her dead under the coop. So, under the circumstances, it would appear I rickrolled my chicken to death. Let's see. Another story I would like to share is maybe of my extremely cursed love life. Which there isn't much to be cursed, since I don't have a love life at all. I'm 13, awkward, and draw things online and sell them to people. But, again, I am 13, a middle schooler, and I will try and involve myself in gossip around me. So first of all, a while ago, I created an animation meme of original character named Birch Kit, eventually Birch Paw, Birch Pelt, I think it was. And he was gay. He was very gay. He had a crush on his best friend, and it was an adorable ship. Anyway, so this was cute, so I was like, hey, I'm bored, have nothing to do, and I feel like doing something creative. So, I decide, hey, why not make an animation meme? So I fish around the internet, looking for something really gay to make an animation meme out of. And so I find the clip of audio, and I'm like, okay, let's make an animation meme out of it. So I publish Everything's Fine, and then, nothing's going on forever. And then earlier this year, when I just came to school, I was just talking about something or whatever, with my friend, who, let's just think of a random name to substitute her name with. Amethyst? I guess we're gonna call her, even though that's from Steven Universe. And she was like, hey, people, and then this other friend, who I am going to call, Pear, because random stuff, was like, oh, and so Amethyst turns to me in the conversation, and she's like, Pear said that, like, you made a YouTube video about you coming out, and I was like, what the fuck, I never did that. And then, so she's like, oh, it was the one with, like, a cat or whatever, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to kill Pear. Anyway, so that's another interesting story of rumors going around. Another time. So, Amethyst, for the longest time, I had a crush on. And she, eventually I stopped because she was clearly rejecting, me. I gave up, I moved on like a responsible person. And so I hear from this other girl, who's Amethyst's friend, named um, Talia. I'm going off the top of my head. So Talia, we're talking about things, and just as a half-ass joke, I'm like, hey, who do you think, if I were to ask out in this room, would be most likely to say yes? And she was like, you do know that Amethyst has a girlfriend, right? And I look to her and I'm like, ha, so she is gay all along. Now the thing is that, as you will see later, I made a dire mistake. So eventually, so I have this in my head, and I was like, well, I don't know who she's dating, but like, obviously she's taken. I've been flirting with a taken person for who knows how long. And so eventually I am again friends with Amethyst. So one time I was like, so you have a girlfriend, right? And she just looks to me dead in the eye like, who the fuck did you get this information from? Like, are you on medicine? Are you on drugs? Are you high? So I turned to her and like I have this. I was like, oh shit, I got false information, didn't I? And see straight and I can't English, please work. And she turns to me and straight up says, I do not have a girlfriend. I am dating a guy in this class. I'm going to call Dragon because for I know the people from my school who are mentioned in this video are going to watch this because I know you all do because you like to stalk me online. You'll know who I'm getting these names, these false names from. They're basically thing. And I'm like, oh God, I fucked up. At this moment, she knew she fucked up. Anyway, and I was like, so there's this other person named Dragon, who's a complete and total, don't get it from me, but no one likes him because he's kind of annoying. Do 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 do. Anyway, so I was like, that dragon, and then which I could not see them being compatible. And the first thought that went into my head was, dragon beat me. And then I think, oh, the other dragon. And she was like, no, why does everyone think it's the other dragon? No, I'm dating the much nicer dragon, who is a much better person. And I can totally see them being compatible. Let's see. Another joke that I commonly use when talking about my love life is typically. So there was only been one person that ever liked me in my entire life, like had a crush on me. It was a really big crush. Anyway, so here's a story. I was in first grade. There was this kid. So he had because I was the only one that played with him for one day, he developed a huge crush on me. The funny thing is that he had autism pretty bad. So I always say, though I still feel really bad for being a complete asshole to this poor innocent child. I smashed all of his hopes and dreams, and I still regret it to this day. And I still think, wow, now that I'm older, I really wish I had taken my chance, you mother friggin'. Oh, God. Anyway, so the funny thing is that this kid, yeah, he had autism really bad. So the joke that I always say is, well, he was still smart. I'm not, like, discriminating against people with autism or whatever. But I always say, my love life is so cursed. The only person to ever like me had autism. It takes autism to like me, which I can totally see being accurate. Continuing with the topic of my very crappy love life. I have been in a singular functioning relationship. Of course, it was not actually a relationship the whole time, and now I shall explain to you the story in glorious detail. So I have this friend online. I used to roleplay with her, along with my other friend, and so she very interesting person. She was a good person deep down. She had some flaws. Everyone has flaws. Now I'm going to tell you the story. So I am a totally friggin' I am way too trusting. I don't question things. Well, I actually question a lot of things, but for things like relationships or whatever, I'm too awkward or nervous to ask or question anything. And I'm gullible when it comes to people liking me. Like for sixth grade, in sixth grade there was a whole thing that probably gave me crappy depression. But yeah. So at this point in time, so I'm thinking. So, why did I? Oh yes, now I remember it. I'm sorry. I had a loss of train of thought. It went off the rails and into the water, you know. So this person, I guess I kind of stopped talking to her a long time ago because I just didn't feel like it or whatever. I don't know. And so she's so she is she kind of, I guess, as some kind of joke or as some kind of thing to do because we're bored or whatever, she pretended to loaf me, like me, you know. And I thought we were actually in a relationship. So one time, I finally slip up or whatever, or I say something really that builds up to this, and so she's like, "You know I don't actually like you, right? And that I'm straight AF." And I just sit there and read it, and I'm like, "Bitch, what the fuck?" Can't. I mean, it was a shitty thing to do. We had a whole conversation about it. It sucked. So that's kind of a bit of a story of how the only quote unquote relationship I ever had was a lie. And thus, I never I have ever since, although this was only a few months ago. So shit. But we'll probably not do an online relationship for a very, very long time. So yes, very interesting, story, I guess. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. So, I joined the politics amino because I, for some reason, feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Did a thing on ageism, and then, here's a funny thing, is that this person comments on my post because I have terrible grammar, which is actually possibly due to my, ADHD, but, also because I suck at grammar in general. So he was like, "You can't have a political opinion unless you know how to use periods." And now, the funniest hypocritical thing I've ever seen, he didn't use a period at the end of that sentence. And so that morning, I was in joy. I showed it to practically everyone I knew. It was hilarious. Another time, I guess, most of my stories are pretty short stories. So let's see. Dang. I'm fresh out of stories. Well, want to hear me randomly ramble or whatever until this speed paint finishes? I don't know. Okay, so as y'all know, I'm a big game theory fan. I have the sweatshirt, the dress sweatshirt or whatever. I have the hat. I have like all the pins except for one of my pins broke, which is really sad. I have the pop thing on my phone, which I'm holding right now. Basically, I loaf game and film theory with all of my heart. Matt Pat is my bae, of course, not my actual bae. I am not crushing on. Do I really need to explain this? I shouldn't. Basically, Matt Pat is like my favorite YouTuber. He was the first channel I ever subbed to was Game Theory. The first video I ever watched on YouTube in the first place was one of his theories on Pokemon. Actually, like, was the first video I ever watched on YouTube, which was really cool. So I still watch all the game theories, not all the film theories because there was on Ouija boards and I don't like Ouija boards or whatever. And so that's pretty interesting. So I loaf my game theory. That's kind of it. I'm running out of things to talk about. Want to talk about another thing? Remember Sausage Party? Oh God, Sausage Party, Sausage Party, Sausage Party. Fuck Sausage Party. I was misled to believe that sausage. When it first came out, it was on commercials on the TV, and I was like 10. And I was like, whoa, this looks pretty cool. I like the idea or whatever, and it's animated, so it must be for kids, right? So order it. So me and my mom order it one night. It's movie night. We're all chill. We got the popcorn. We got everything. And we sit down, and it's the first scene in the movie. And so I don't pick up on all the swears, but I pick up on some of them, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then Chris, she's my mom. She was like, what? And then the last scene ends, and then there's more swearing, and she's like, what the heckle is going on here? Oh God. So, me and my mom were another victim of Sausage Party. Yes, it's a terrible thing. Really, just kidding. I kind of looking back on it, probably shouldn't, I should have been more careful, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like Deadpool, several parents who took their kids to see Deadpool were even more stupid. Because, Sausage Party, really, really looks for kids, even the style of animation. Deadpool, though, not really. He literally carries guns. What were you expecting? Anyway, done with my little rant. Oh, I have a really good one. So, 6th grade, the shittiest year of my entire life. Frickin' hell. My anxiety was starting to surface because, my mom has anxiety, and, one of my moms has anxiety, and I am a literal clone of her. I am the first, human clone. Da-da-da-da. Just kidding. I'm not a human clone, but I look just like her. I have ADHD just like her. I'm a clone of my mother. Okay. So my anxiety was surfacing. I was probably I think I might have been having some form of depression, something like that. Some sprinkling of self-harm, suicidal thoughts, all that freaking shitty jazz that is terrible to have coming from experience. Of course, I had a therapist and stuff, but it was still really hard for me, I wasn't given any meds to help with it at all because I was too young or whatever. I don't know, something like that. Point is, I wasn't given any meds. It sucked. It was the absolute worst. I almost threw up a few times. Some acid reflux. Anyway, done with my talk of my suffering. So a way that I kind of lived through it, dealt with the pain, was how I was like, everyone around me is a shitty person. And everyone around me kind of sucked. So I didn't like being around these people who were honestly terrible people, and I thought, well, they weren't terrible people, but like they weren't the best people. They were snitches and bitches. Dab. Just kidding, don't dab. I'm not stuck in 2016, I swear. If I was stuck in 2016, I would be dying because I would be reliving Trump being president over and over and over, which would be extremely painful. God, that morning when I woke up and my mom was like, hey, Trump's our president, I almost wanted to faint. Anyway, so back to the point. So she's like, so I'm having a shitty year, all that stuff, and everyone around me were jerks, and I felt like I was like the only one that wasn't a jerk or something like that, and I was like, well, everyone's a jerk. And I don't want to be a jerk. I don't want to be part of the human race because the human race is full of bullshit. So I was pissed at everything, like a little edgy teenager, but not really actually that edgy, just extremely sad. So I'm freaking annoyed, all that stuff. And I decide, well, if I'm not a human, if I'm not truly a human, then I must be an animal. And thus begun my journey as an otherkin, which I'm not anymore. Please help. But, so I believed I was a crow, because crows are smart, they're really cool, and all that stuff. Crows are actually really intelligent, hyper-intelligent, all that stuff. They're as smart, if not smarter than chimps, making them the second smartest animal. I sourced that from National Geographic, though that source is probably so old it might be false. I don't know. Don't listen to that. The point is that they're super smart. They deserve to be like in that famous smart animal category, like with dolphins and chimps and monkeys, all that stuff. So I was really mentally unstable, and I actually thought I was part crow. Not fully a crow, like some other otherkin. That's kind of funny. But I wasn't really like on the web a lot, and if I had been on the web, I might still be an otherkin. But I'm not an otherkin still. I know I'm not a crow, although I can still make a really, really good crow call, and I still love crows. Crows are still my base. So I'm salty, all that stuff. And for an entire year, I thought I was a crow. Ooh, another story. So there was this tree in the playground, and I would always I was practically a leftist. God, my political jokes are shit. I was practically a leftist on this shit, and I was like, trees have feelings too, which, I mean, I still think that trees should be protected, and all that stuff. I was a bit extreme though, although it was really grounding for me to protect this tree, kind of feel like it was alive too, like it was talking to me or something like that. And it was nice. Then I got physically assaulted in this tree. That took a deep turn. Basically some kids broke off some branches of the tree. And since this was like in spring or whatever, no, in autumn, like in early autumn, or I can't remember what time of year it was. The point is that it was all leaves, everything. Yeah, I think it was like early spring. And it was all leafy, it was really green. It was practically like camouflage. You couldn't even like see me inside of it. It was kind of like a tunnel. It was really cool actually. And so, sitting there in my tree, and I'm all cool, and then like I hear some rustling outside, and I was like, if someone is hurting my fucking tree, I'm going to kill them. So I walk outside, and I'm like, who's touching my tree? And then I notice there's no one there. So I turn around, I go back into the tree, and then boom, I am hit with a branch, and then boom, I am hit with another branch, and I am bombarded with branches. And I am a sixth grader still, tiny, a short ass, not knowing what to do. Basically, when I was finally able to escape, and my poor tree had been hurt, I went into a corner and I cried because I was the only one in this entire school that had been taught snitches get stitches. Everyone snitched on each other. It was terrible. I was the only one who didn't snitch constantly. I had a sense of honor, and yet I would get blamed for absolutely everything, even by the teachers. It sucked ass. Basically, so turned into a corner. It took a surprisingly long amount of time for a teacher to notice me. So the teachers were really nice at my school. Everyone, everything was really good. They had an awesome program. It's an amazing school. The teachers are great. It's just the kids suck. I'm sorry. The kids just suck. Or at least the kids I was around, at least. They pretended to be my friend. Or they probably weren't pretending to be my friend. I was just so desperate. I thought they were my friends. Yeah, so that's how story of how I was physically assaulted in a tree. I guess physically assaulted is a bit over dramatic, but again, I was a tiny child. I wasn't, you know what, no, this was before I played field hockey. I was a helpless child. I could barely, lift up 5 pounds, bitch. I couldn't do shit. There we go. And thus concludes my story time of today. I really hope you liked my short stories. I put a lot of thought into them, and I have so many more stories to tell. Next time, I'll probably be talking about an annoying kid from school or something like that, because I'm 13 in middle school and a total bitch. But that'll probably be next, speed paint. I really hope you guys liked and enjoyed that. And I hope you really liked it. I'm trying this thing because everyone says I have really good stories to tell. So I thought, why not take benefit in it? So I hope you had a good time watching this video. Have a good day and good night, or good day, whatever time of day it is for you. Just have a good one. Bye.